Welcome, yogi, to this morning yoga class. We'll aim to get you moving all over so you can head out into the day refreshed and energized. Let's begin in child's pose. You don't need any particular props for this practice, though if you have a blanket and a couple of blocks, you might find them useful. So before you get too settled, grab those if you need them. We'll get into our child's pose, knees wide, big toes touching, and let your hands stretch forwards. Rest your forehead down to the ground. If your forehead doesn't touch the ground comfortably, you can grab blocks. If you have any discomfort in the knees, you can rest your forearms on the ground and put some weight through those. Just start to breathe in and out through your nose. Feeling the back of your body expand. Breathing morning fresh energy in and releasing any tiredness. And we'll move through the stiffness as we practice. And breathing in deeply. Slowly out. Another breath, please, yogi. Take your time. Feel that natural rhythm coming in for your yoga practice. The soft sound of ujjayi. Open your mind to focus on this moment. Not anticipating any of what's to come in a day. This is time for you to just move with your breath. When you're ready, come up to a tabletop. Bring your hands in under your shoulders and slide your knees in under your hips. Begin to move your spine a little. Inhale into your cat-cows, belly down, tailbone lifts, look forwards. Exhale, draw the navel up, push through strong straight arms, chin towards your chest. Inhale and arch into your back, looking forwards, tail high. Exhale, navel high, tailbone tucking down, chin down. Get your shoulders involved, inhale and arch. Think about opening into your upper back. And as you exhale, really protract the shoulders, push into the earth. Take 2 more, please. Just with your breath. Listen to the sound of ujjayi, that slight constriction in your throat to make a very soft sound. Last one here. Good. Into neutral. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Just pedal your legs a little bit, waking the backs of the legs up, waking up the ankles and the feet. It's a good opportunity to see the energy with which you come to your mat today. When we come into down dog first, are you feeling energized and awake? Are you feeling still a little tired, or is there some fatigue or stiffness in your body? Just observe without any judgment. Soften your knees. Don't worry about straightening your legs out, especially if it's early in the day. Push your arms, so really elevate your shoulders. Keep your tailbone tilting high. The ears framed up by the upper arms. Another full breath here, yogi. Wander forwards to your hands. Take several steps to get there. And we'll dangle at the top of the mat, so that's feet at least a hip distance. And bend the knees quite generously so your abdomen, your belly rests on your thighs. Relax your neck here. And just let this be a bit of a spinal release. You can put your hands to the opposite elbow crease if that feels good. And just let your spine feel long, the weight of your head pulling it out. And breaths into that compression between the belly and the thighs. So it spreads the breath into the low back and the ribs. Good. Lift up halfway. Stretch out your torso. Exhale and fold. Push your feet down, bend your knees a little, circle your hands up overhead, straightening out once you get there. Hands to your heart, exhale. Good job, yogis. Circle your hands up, breathing in, looking up. Take your right hand back and your left hand forwards. Twist and look back towards your right hand. Take your right hand down, follow up to the sky with the left hand. And as you exhale, take your left hand back and your right hand forwards. Twist and look back towards your left hand. Inhale, circle both hands up. One more time, right hand back, left hand forwards, look back. Starting to warm up your neck and your shoulders. Inhale, both hands up. Left hand back, right hand forwards, exhale. Circle both hands up, reaching up and back a bit. Soften your knees, reach your hips forwards. And as you exhale, fold forwards. Step your right foot back. Bring the toes to the mat, but keep the heel up and rise up, high lunge. Hands to prayer is a nice place to start while you find your balance. Drawing the outer right hip towards the front of your mat and your left outer hip back. Left knees over ankle. And you can keep your hands at prayer if that's best for you today, or stretch them straight up. Now keep this right thigh nice and strong and energized, and the heel high up over your toes. Take a couple of breaths here, firm in the belly. Another deep breath. Great, we'll bring the hands down and straighten both legs. You might need to shorten up a little bit. Place the right toes so they point to 1 on a clock. Both legs are straight, start to fold forwards. I mentioned blocks at the start. If you have a little stiffness in your hamstrings, blocks are going to be your friend in this as you lengthen your spine and bow down. This left leg is straight without being locked out. So if you have flexible joints, soften your knee just a tiny bit. Using blocks or books or the sofa, whatever you can reach to support your hands, or down to the ground if you can do so without rounding your back too much. Stretching your hamstrings this morning. Also the back calf gets a good stretch here. Another breath. Bend into the front knee. If you were using blocks, move them out to the side. Stretch your right foot further back. Place your right hand flat on the floor. Reach your left hand up. Again, just like you were in your lunge, strengthen your right thigh. So lift it up a little bit. Rotate belly, ribs and chest. And if you can, look up towards the left hand. Feel like you're lengthening from your heel to your head. And we'll release the left hand down. Step your way back, downward facing dog. This time, maybe the heels get a little closer to the ground, but don't worry if they don't touch. Push your arms. You can hold your downward facing dog, or you can shift forwards to a plank. All the way forwards. Knees can be up or down. Chaturanga, slow descent. Turn your elbow creases forwards. Lift your belly, slowly descend. Elbows down by the ribs. And cobra pose, the tops of your feet press down. Roll your chest up. Nice and open in the front of your body this morning. And back to your downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And sigh out. Looking forwards. Walk your way back up to your hands. Maybe the steps a little bit bigger now that you're moving. Lift up halfway at the top. Stretch out. And fold forwards. Circle up to the sky. Hands to your heart. Circle your hands up. Looking up. Left hand back, right hand forwards. Twist your body to the left. Look back. Take your left hand down, forwards and up. Right hand back, left hand forwards. Twist. Circle down, forwards and up. One more time. Exhale, left hand back, right hand forwards. Continue the rotation around, breathe in. Exhale, twist your right hand back. Inhale, circle them up. Both hands reaching back, hips forwards a bit of a back bend here. Exhale, hands down towards the floor. Left foot stepping back. And rise up to a high lunge. So you're on your left toes. Right knee is over ankle. And rise up, hands to prayer pose while you find prayer position, while you find your balance. Pull that left outer hip forwards and right hip back a little for stability and strengthen your left thigh. If you want, keep your hands down, or if you prefer, take them up overhead and hold. That heel of the left foot nice and high up over the toes, really active foot. Warming your body from toes to fingertips this morning. You're doing great. You one more breath in. And hands down as you exhale. Maybe you shorten your stride just a little bit and plant the left heel down so your left toes point to 11 now on a clock, slightly forwards to the left. And we'll bow down. Again, your blocks can be really nice, especially first thing in the day. Pull this right hip back, lengthen your spine, and bow down. Don't worry about reaching the floor. Be more concerned about keeping your spine nice and neutral and not too rounded. If you have a flexible joint, so you feel it pulling your knee, remember to soften your knee a little bit. Just a couple more breaths here in pyramid. You can be using your blocks. You can have your hands on the floor if that's comfortable. Bend your front knee. Stretch your left foot further back again. You're back on your toes. Left hand flat on the floor. Right hand up to the sky. Twist. Rotate and look up. Re-strengthen the left leg. Very good, yogi. Release your right hand down. Step your way back to your downward facing dog. Firm your belly. Tailbone tilting high. Arms strong. Fingers lightly spread. Use all of your hands. Not too heavy, just in the wrist. Remember, you can hold your down dog if that's working for you. You could also shift forwards and join me for vinyasa. Shoulders come forwards over fingertips. Peer over the front of your mat. Firm your belly. Knees can be down. Chaturanga, slow descent halfway. Cobra, or if you want to lift your thighs, tops of the feet press down, arch into your back, straighten your arms. Downward facing dog, turn the feet over. Great job, yogi. We're going to step the right foot to the front of your mat and spin 90 degrees to the left, a quarter turn to the left, so you end up facing the long edge of your mat. Widen your feet and bow down into a wide-legged fold. Now, if you'd like to use a block in this, you may too. Or hands on the ground. You can start to walk the hands through between the legs behind you with the palms down. So the hands externally rotate, palms down, and they walk away from you. And you start to bend your elbows a little bit, tilting your tail high. 2 more breaths here. Walk your hands back under your shoulders if you took them back. Bend just your right knee. Shimmy over to the right side. Lengthen your spine. And so your hips are about knee height for Skandasana. Hands are under your shoulders to take some of your weight. And some days I'll even put a little weight into my upper arm to create some resistance there for a hip stretch. Toes are turned out just a little bit. And we'll switch over to the other side. Bend the other knee there, right leg straight, left knee bent. Hips about knee height. Good. Getting the inner right thigh stretch. Go back to the first side. If you'd like to go lower, you can sit down onto the heel. Try to keep your heel down. Now, mine's going to lift up today, so I'm going to stay higher. But if you can keep your heel down and sit your bum to your heel, that's great. Breathe. And switch over to the second side again. And like I said on the first side, if you can sit down, point your right toes up, and your heel remain on the ground, you're welcome to take this a little deeper, or you can join me in keeping your hips about knee high. Good job. Straighten out both legs. Take a breath in. And exhale, fold. Turn to the front of your mat. Bring your back knee down, left knee down, and your right knee down. So you bring them both to the floor and tuck all 10 toes under. And then even get your little toes tucked under. Sit onto your heels. And if this is too much, either for your knees or your toes, you can come to sitting on the floor. That's also fine. Clasp your hands behind you and open into your chest. Lift up your heart. I'll turn to face you to show this next one, but you stay orientated just as you are. Bring your hands over to your right hip, both of them anchored there together. So your left arm ends up going across your low back. And tilt your head over to the right. If your toes start to talk to you and you need to release them, you can. But if you can just be aware of sensation going on in the feet and breathe fully, you can continue to do so. Lift your head, bring your hands over to the left hip. Again, now your right forearm is across your low back. Tilt your head to the left and breathe. Good job. Come on out. And ready to release the toes, you can lean forwards and lift them up. Give them a wiggle. Maybe press the tops of the feet onto the mat for a moment. And come down to a seat on your mat. If you wish, you can put a blanket underneath your bum. We're going to take a leg stretch. And if you elevate the hips, it can help you to find a more natural position for your spine. We're going to extend the legs and bring your right foot in to the inner left thigh. Sit up nice and tall. Take your right hand up to the ceiling and start to lean forwards. You can hold the knee, the calf, the ankle, the foot. You can rest both hands either side of the leg, however feels good for you this morning. Flexing a foot towards the chest and think about chest towards your toes. Sit your way up. Bring this right hand up and around behind you. So it's about a foot or a little more away from your hip. You're going to roll onto this right knee and the inner left foot. Lift your hips up like a knee wild thing if you have wild thing in your practice. Push your arm, reach your left arm overhead so you're a big rainbow shape from your fingertips to your toes. And we'll sit our way down. Nice and easy. Spin forward, stretch your right leg out and bring your left foot into the inner thigh. Adjust your seat so your tailbone's not tucked under. Send your left hand up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, fold forwards. Maybe, like I say, you put your hand to your shin or your knee, your ankle or your foot, or you rest both hands equally. But extending the sternum towards the foot, the chest towards your foot. Especially if it's early morning when you're doing this, it can feel very different to how your practice might feel late in the evening, and vice versa. So observe what you're feeling. Of course, let go of any judgments of that being good or bad. It is perfect just as it is. You can sit your way up, bring your right hand up and around behind you, like I said, about a foot or so away from your hip. You're going to roll onto your right knee and the inner left foot and lift your hand up, arching all the way through your ribs and your waist. Great job, yogi. And we'll come all the way down, nice and easy. And release your legs. Now, if you have a blanket, take your blanket and roll it up into a tube, a sausage-like shape, and then place that lengthwise in the center of your mat. Bring your bum towards the end of it, and this end's just going to settle into the arch of the low back. And you can lie your way back onto it. We'll spend just a few moments settled into this heart opener before we start the day. Now you can stretch your legs out straight, or you can have them crossed, whatever feels best, or you can even have your knees bent towards the sky. Let your arms rest where it's comfortable for you. Some people it's best by the sides, others like to go out like a T. The head supported by the blanket. You might need to add a second blanket if you feel any strain in the neck. And just let this gentle opener across the chest happen naturally. Rather than traditional Shavasana, we're going to take a few rounds of deep breath to prepare you for your day. So you'll breathe into your belly, into your ribs, up into your chest, and slowly release from your chest, from your ribs, and from your belly. Inhale into your belly, ribs, and chest, and out from your chest, ribs, belly. Take a few more of these full breaths. A sense of drawing in energy for the day and exhaling any sleepiness. Drawing in the idea of opportunities ahead and exhaling doubt and resistance. Just a couple more full breaths. If you'd like some time in traditional Shavasana, you can press pause and hang out here or lying flat on the ground for a few minutes. If, however, you're ready to move on with your day, you can bring your legs into a cross-legged position and press your way up, coming up to a seat, sitting upright. Your hands together in a prayer position in front of your heart, in Namaskar in front of your heart. Thank yourself for coming to your mat this morning. Starting your day with gratitude, think of one thing, big or small, that you can feel grateful for in this moment, that you've encountered so far today. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Wishing you a wonderful day, yogi. Namaste.